Welcome to those that have just joined us. It is December 26th, the day after Christmas, and we're kind of looking at what happens the day after Christmas. Well, Bob Snyder just was telling us, you keep watching the lessons, you keep building for it, for events, you keep doing the positive things in your life, you keep being a positive example and a role model that others can follow, you keep introducing your guests to successful real estate investors and inviting them to attend. Really, in a lot of ways, we're professional inviters, aren't we? At any rate, want to keep working that direction. And this morning we get to hear from Bill Predebon. We appreciate that he's filling in for Michael today while Michael's out of the country. And here is a guy that, just look at that smile. He looks like a jolly old elf himself, doesn't he? And here is a person that's had a wealth of life experience. He has been an entrepreneur. He's a real estate investor. He's a student of real estate investing, and he invites his friends. He invites the new friends he meets every day with the 3-foot rule, and he is here to help us today. And we appreciate, Bill, that you're here with us. How was your Christmas?
Hey, good morning, Ron. Can you hear me okay? Good
morning. Sound great, Bill.
Awesome. That is perfect. Thank you. Well, my Christmas was very blessed, I have to say. I appreciate you asking. I had a very nice, relaxing Christmas so far. How about you?
It was wonderful. For the last 2 days, we've had all of our family here on 2 different occasions, and then they've gone out to their in-laws and other family and friends, and it's just been wonderful. Today, we're going to start cleaning up some of the clutter that's left behind and moving on with life, and we're very excited about it. Thank you.
That's just fantastic. It's obviously what Christmas is about, family. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody has, had a good Christmas, a great Christmas for that matter. At the very least, got a chance to spend some time with family, whether it's on the phone or, a face-to-face call or in person. It's kind of a good lead in, Ron. Thanks for what you do. Thanks for being here the day after Christmas as well. I know my day fell on the Tuesdays of the 2 holidays. So I know Michael's out. I think he might be still in Jamaica. So good for him. But, that's a great lead into today's topic. I'm grateful that you guys are here, that are on the call. If you want to text anybody and see if they're interested in jumping on a call. You never know. I can tell you my Christmases, I guess they've always been blessed in a certain way. But when I started with Renatus, folks, it wasn't, I don't know. You don't know everybody's story. But, I had a lot of rough Christmases financially. And I don't mean like I was on the streets, but a lot of arguments, a lot of, with my wife and I, based on finances, a lot of times, I would try to prepare for Christmas. And because I used to be paycheck to paycheck, not from a job, but even from Renatus in my real estate business, right? I was so, oh man, it's a long story. Let's see. So, there were many years where, I would be waiting for closings, for example, because if you remember, even 2011 to 2016, I wasn't doing the marketing. I did do some coaching, but there were a few slim years. There were slim years in the beginning of this business. Even my first year, I made almost $190,000 in 2008, you guys, in my first year, and I made 40 of that. 38 of that or something like that from Renatus, from our old company in the marketing on direct sales. And then I made the rest from real estate. I mean, there was 1 month in when I first closed my short sales, I closed, I think 4 short sales in 1 month. And I cleared $70,000. And I instantly wrote my wife a check for like $40,000 because I owed her so much money for all the bills, and it was gone in a month. Like, we owed so much money. We were just overextended, right? And that Christmas, I remember not being able to buy anything. And so she's like, well, we got a plan for Christmas. Are we going to go to this holiday? Where are we going to go see the family? My parents live in Michigan. My sister lives out in Pennsylvania with her. At the time, her kids were still in school. They were much younger, 10 years younger. And then her family, her sister and her mom lived in Michigan up north. It's a $700 flight each way, or a round trip per person, rather, $750 most of the time. We have to fly into Chicago, and then we have to get on a jumper plane and fly up to UP. And it's a week off of work. And when I say a week off of work, I mean, like, I'll get to that today's training, but like, work itself is still work. Like, if you own a business, you still work, unless you own a business that runs itself. When you're not there and you're the CEO of a major corporation, or a very well-oiled business, you still are self-employed. So at the time, I was still very self-employed as a flipper. And so, I had to try to plan when I was going to take off work, because my flips weren't going to flip themselves when I was gone. I didn't have that type of leverage business. And so, there's a lot of times when Christmas, and this is why we joined Renatus, right? Because there's a lot of times when Christmas is not as great as we'd like it to be. We don't have the funds that we want to be able to get the things that we want. It was very difficult for us in many years to plan for our trips to see the family, because I couldn't contribute. And my wife makes decent money, good money, and she has a master's degree, and she's always she's in a field that has a very high demand for what she does. And what was worse than, you guys, is that she would plan, and she would begin to pay for things ahead of time, buy some gifts, right? And I didn't want her buying the gifts for my parents or for my sister, right? I mean, I wanted us to do it together, and everything is together, but still, it's always her, and it's always her, paying, paying for things, and then I would have to pay her back once I got paid. From a flip or from an enrollment or whatever it was. And Christmas, although it's about family, it's about being blessed, it's about thankfulness, like Thanksgiving, it's about giving, really, right? Not receiving. It's about being together. It's about taking time off. Unfortunately, it's also about situations where we feel good, and to give. And in order to give, we have to have something to give. And so a lot of times that ends up just being our time. It ends up just being our resources that we have versus the financial resources, because we don't have them. And I think Renatus creates an opportunity, I know it does, for the financial resource piece of the puzzle to come together. And so, here after Christmas, there's so much to talk about, you guys. And remember, feel free to jump in with any chats. The cool thing about Renatus and what we have to offer with the marketing is we can present an opportunity to someone where their next year will be better than their last year, right? And year after year, the same thing will happen. So I don't know how long all of you have been with Renatus. I don't know what everyone's situation is, unfortunately. I wish I did. It would make it a lot easier to talk to everybody individually. But I do know that in my experience, in my history with Renatus and with real estate and with owning a business like this and with marketing, especially the marketing, that year after year, your income will go up. When you start to get 5-star qualified and you start to have sales, it will build on each other. And the greatest part about it is that no matter what you've done in the past, if you've done nothing or you had a really great year and then you took some time off, or your team fizzled out or whatever the case is, you can pick it back up. It's not something you have to start over with. You can start work again any day with Renatus. Every single day you can start over and you can make a $10,000 check in a very short period of time by talking to the right person. And it can provide, and it will provide, an amazing year for you and an amazing holiday for you in the future. So I know that's what it did for me. When we talk about the day after Christmas, all right. So for me, Christmas fell on Tuesday, and it's been nice because last week we had our meeting on Wednesday. And, as a team leader, as an executive team member here in Scottsdale, we got together last week and we decided, what are we going to do for meetings the last few weeks? We've decided this beforehand, but we usually have a Tuesday leadership meeting every week. It's about 3 hours long. And given the fact that the holiday fell on a Tuesday, it enabled us to still have meetings on Thursdays. And so we decided to do that. In fact, we also have we have a property tour on Saturday at last Saturday and this coming Saturday. And those two properties happen to be, one of them's a property I'm doing with a brand new team member, and one of them's a property I'm doing with someone else, Keely Austin. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. That one we're doing this weekend. And so the business still goes on, and there's still a demand and a need. And I feel like, in my opinion, it's not a lot of work. It's not a lot of work to hit up a meeting during the week, to place an ad on Craigslist during the week of holiday. There might be a time if you do place an ad that you would have to make phone calls, but you can balance it, right? I didn't do anything on Tuesday. For me, my wife and I stayed here in town. Our families are away. My sister and her family got together. Her sister and her family got together. We've had some issues with our older dog, so we didn't have a dog sitter stay in the house this time. We stayed with him, and we're going to go to Michigan probably in January to see my folks up in northern Michigan, and we're going to go to Dallas to see her sister in January, so we can catch up with them after the holiday, right? But we stayed. So we got to do some things together that we hadn't normally done. We went ice skating in Arizona, of all places, downtown, pretty fun. Went to a movie on Christmas, which we haven't ever done. And, but there's also time where, I'm running 4 projects right now. 1, 2, 3, actually, I'm running 5 projects right now, and 2 are on the market. 4, I can't remember. And anyway, so a couple of them, one of them's under contract. I had to work on a Binzer, to texted a guy, my roofer, to see when he was going to go out to before we closed to fix the Binzer. One I'm trying to get ready. This one we're going to this weekend. It's going on the market this week. So I've had a last minute, even on Monday morning, Christmas Eve, is when the opportunity, my carpet guy had to get in there. So, he stopped by on Monday for a check, Christmas Eve. I was still working, but it's not work, if that makes sense. But I don't just quit everything. I don't just stop automatically. I mean, I could. Life would go on, and it would, it would pick up. But you lose time. Time is money, and it keeps me engaged. I don't have a business, and this is where the bulk of the training will come in. And remember, you guys can chat in anytime you want. I don't have a business, folks, where a week before the holiday, I get a 2 or 3 week vacation. I get to take the time off and hang up the phone, and everything about the whole building and the whole company shuts down, right? That's a corporate America. And I chose a long time ago not to be part of corporate America. There's a lot of you that are probably in service industry, retail industry, and the holiday doesn't shut down for you. It picks up. And so I'm happy about that choice. I'm happy to have a business where, you know, the Christmas time and the holiday season and the fall season is the best time of our year, right? For us to enroll students. Because at any given time throughout the year, I can elect to take vacation. I can go anywhere, anytime, for any emergency, for any family time I need, for any break I need, for any reason I need. I don't need permission. I don't have to fight crowds. I don't have to do any of these things. I can choose when I go. I can choose where I go, right? And so my mindset through the holiday is that I may slow down to an extent. You know, there was a choice that I had some calls from my Craigslist ad that I placed a week ago that I didn't make those calls yet. But I also texted everybody on my team, I believe. I hope. I'm going to double check it today. But yesterday, right, and Thanksgiving, I texted every single buddy on my team personally. I also texted a few prospects that are enrolled but haven't funded yet, that are coming to the Saturday property tour. Some warm market leads that I've been working with for months. Wished them a Merry Christmas and told them look forward to working with them in 2019, right? Assumed the sale. Talked about how great it's going to be to work with them and get them into real estate and all these things, right? This is all work. Like, it's personable and it's enjoyable, but it still takes time away from whatever I'm doing, right? But it's very, very short periods of time. And it's very, very productive, and it pays very, very well. You know, I'm going to go to the Thursday night meeting this week. I'm going to host the Saturday property tour. I hosted the one last week, right? And after last week's Saturday property tour, my plans were to immediately get out of there, go pick up my wife, and we went off to a festival. And then we went ice skating that night, right? So we had plans. It doesn't ruin your whole day. It's not a commute of an hour to work, 8 hours at work, an hour for lunch, and a commute of an hour and a half on the way home. It's not that type of work. It's not where I'm sitting there going, I cannot wait for the week before Christmas and the Friday or Thursday to come. And we're blessed, you guys. You eventually, no matter what your situation is in your job or your life, you eventually, if you continue to follow the steps that we take, that we provide, that Renatus has provided, then you will also, if you're not already, experience what I'm talking about. You'll experience the opportunity to not have to be able to work through Christmas in a way that is your choice. And I think I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful. I can't imagine another way. You know, there's still a bounce. I remember when I first started, and I had a lot of properties going, and I would pack up an entire bag of work, and I would bring it home to Christmas, or if we went out to my sister's in Pennsylvania, and then my folks would fly there, and we'd have a week or 10 days at Christmas over there, wherever we were. I'd have a whole bag. I'd have files of my properties in case one of them got sold and I had to double check to see what I could sell it for, to make sure I wanted to make the profit I wanted to do. I had, you know, follow-ups to do with my contractors. I had a list of leads I wanted to call. You know, I had paperwork I hadn't finished, numbers I had to run, and I would just bring a bunch of work. And it's the wrong way to do things, I think. There's a time and a way, in my opinion, where, you know, and you've heard this before, and I think it's a very good way to live by, is that, you know, whatever it is we do, we should do 100%, right? So if we're going to take some time to spend with family, you know, we need to be 100% there and 100% present. And so I'm not saying don't take work with you anywhere you go, but what I would do is try to work and try to play at the same time. I try to work and be with family at the same time. And I should have just set time aside for work at a certain time, and then done that, and then gone back to what I was doing and let it go. And so that's something I've learned over the years to do. And I think that it works very well. Whatever it is that you're doing at that time, to be 100% committed and present to that. In this type of business, this type of work, both real estate and the marketing with Renatus, I think enables us and allows us to do that. We just have to learn how to do it. Remember, you guys, if you have any comments or questions and you want to chat in the chat, I can to take up something that's I guess on the forefront of your mind here through the holidays and working on during the holidays or whatever your situation is with the Renatus business. As far as anything you're struggling with or anything you want to talk about, feel free to chat it up, and I can go in that direction as well. So here's what we've got. The cool thing is, like, there's some things, these things that I'm going to talk about, you guys, are things that you can, in my opinion, you can share when talking to prospects, right? If you're using the drive system and you're talking to certain people, you're going to have certain points that you want to make that are going to excite them. But, Keely had an opportunity to go to Jamaica with Keely Austin with Michael and Vanessa, I think. I know they're longtime friends, and Casey and the cool thing is so Keely is the one who actually found this property that we're working on in Chandler, Arizona, that we're going to list on the market this week. I finished it up over this last week with all the details, the detail work. The appliances went in on Saturday. The cleaning is going to happen this afternoon. I've got a handyman going in there this morning. Carpet went in on Monday morning. Tile guys finished up on the weekend. And I'm going to get pictures, and it'll be listed by Friday, and we'll have a property tour there Saturday. All the while that she's in Jamaica, right? She had a choice to do the property technically herself, but she felt like leveraging the community and someone who's had some experience in her first couple deals would be the right thing for her to do. And in my opinion, I believe that to be true. And so we were able to partner on this deal and do this deal together. And fortunately, my part of the agreement is to run the project, right? I have the contacts, and then she learns as she goes, as we go, and as she has questions, and she goes and checks on the property when she has time, and she meets with contractors if I need her to, or want her to, or ask her to, and she double checks, and then she'll follow up on what's going on. But she's off in another country, and I'm here. She's got a leveraged business in me fixing up a property that she's a significant partner in, a significant equitable partner in. And that's part of the process with Renatus, and the opportunity with Renatus is that, when you're marketing, relationships are abundant. It's an environment of relationships. It's an environment that is created in order to facilitate and to force, if you will, or just organically create working relationships. And this is a prime example. When you're out reading books, or you're watching YouTube, or you're going to seminars, and you're trying to get educated and figure out how to do real estate, it's all possible. People can do it outside of Renatus. In fact, there's an abundance of education. There's $1 billion worth of education to be had every single year by the public. However, when people get started, because of the business models that are out there, the upsell model, a model of scarcity, a model of continuing education, folks find themselves in a situation where they just cannot necessarily, the majority, right? The top 1-3%, I shouldn't say the top 1 or 3%, the lucky 1 or 3% that maybe have some experience, maybe they had something going in before they got started. Whatever the case is, they're able to get out there. Maybe their why is just a little bit stronger than everybody else's in the beginning. And so they're able to get a couple things done. But most of us are left holding the bag. We're left on our own, and we're trying to figure it out. And the possibility of getting into a deal right away or partnering with someone with some experience right away is not there. And so all they have to go on is what they think to be true based on the books or the tapes or whatever it is they heard. And so they are forced to do these things on their own. So taking a trip, where when you're in the middle of a project and you can't control when the project starts or ends, right? And it's a holiday, you're screwed, right? That project will go on hold. And typically you don't just lose, oh, I'll start up next week. What happens is you lose time, right? Because when you start flipping houses, you're going to notice this, that, and even doing real estate, rental property and things like that, there's a momentum. You can't just make a call and get a tile guy in there the next day when you get back from your trip. It's got to be planned because they have jobs. They work paycheck to paycheck, day to day, week to week, and they're booked, especially in times like now. And so, major trades and good contractors, subcontractors are hard to come by, and their times are busy. And to get them in there right away is very difficult. And so, you would be left out on your own. So here's Keely in her first deal. And if she decided to take this trip, she would know that she'd be postponing not just a week of time with her project, but possibly 2 or 3 or 4 weeks before she get it back on the project. Instead, she's going to come back to a finished project. Now, if I'd have taken vacation at the same time and I was gone, the same thing would occur. Why would that be? Because I would be, I have experience. I've done it over 100 times. I know what I'm doing, and I have guys that are set up and ready to go. I would set it up before I go, and text messaging and phone calls work while I'm gone. And I would be able to work through my trip and let them know and make sure they're scheduled, right? And then I even have ways where I have been gone on many, 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 many trips. And when we have dog sitters, I have checks that are written for my people in portions for them to get the work done. When they get the work done, my dog sitter, house sitter would be able to pay them individually as they came by putting a check under the mat or a check in the mailbox for them to pick up when they are done with whatever business they had to get done. And they would send me pictures on what they had finished so I could make sure the work was done. And I had a pretty good relationship with these guys. Now, these are things that as a beginner, you don't know about, right? When I started, the description of what would happen in real estate was exactly me, right? And what would happen is I would go on these vacations. And I would go on. I would partake in the holiday of the time, and so then I would bring all my projects, like I told you, with me, and it was a constant phone call. Like I was so new to it, and I had so much going on, and I had so much at stake that I needed money so badly that I was always on the phone. I was always trying to work through a problem with a contractor not showing up, someone not doing their job, everybody complaining, new trades all the time. And it consumed me. It overtook my vacation and my holiday because I was inexperienced and I wasn't working with anybody that had experience. And although I had the education back then, remember we had less than 50% of the classes we have now. The education back then was live. It wasn't online. I couldn't refer to it while I was away. I had to, bring my notes with me if I was going to refer to the education, and I had to wing it. And Renatus offers far greater opportunity now with our education. Far greater opportunity with the 24-hour online demand that we have, with the amount of classes that we have, with the extensive classes that we have, the different types of classes that we have, and the ability to leverage other people and communities all over the country. Nowadays, if I left and I really had something to go in, I could rely on people that aren't even in my projects, that aren't even a part of my partnerships, that would go out and check on my properties, right? I could rely on team members and executive members at Scottsdale Renatus. And that's what you have to offer your prospects in marketing. The opportunity for people to not only have a better Christmas next year because they are 5-star qualified, because they are learning to flip their first house, or even better than flipping their first house, they are learning to buy real estate or pay down debt or save on taxes. They're learning to control, right? Imagine this year, if you talk to someone next year and you ask them, what's the one thing you regret you didn't do at the holiday? And a lot of people are going to regret not giving more. They wish they had more to give, not just to their family, but to their charities of choice, right? And if you could teach someone over the next year to save 20% in taxes, and the average person makes $40,000 or $50,000, That's $8,000 to $10,000 that they could put back in their pocket. And if they chose to give out 50% of that, ask them how many layaways they could pay off with 50% of 10 grand. Ask them what that would do for a church if that's what they wanted to do with the money. You guys, it's not about flipping frickin' houses. Flipping houses for us is a great way to make ordinary income if we know what to do with the money when we're done with it. There are so many opportunities for us to share with people at this time. And I'm talking about not just this week, but next week and the week after, about reflecting back on the holiday season they just had. Because the holiday season is a good 2 months long, right? It starts in November. We hit the Black Friday. We had the Thanksgiving in October and the Halloween and all that crap. And we start to get anxious, and the Christmas lights come out in Costco in, like, I don't know, September. And then we got to get through the holiday, and then we've got the new year, and the new year costs money because you want to celebrate the new year, and you want to buy a bottle of Dom Perignon, and you want to go to New York City or Las Vegas and celebrate. And you've got family and friends and parties and a new dress and all of these things, and everything costs money. And you reflect through January, and then the bills come in, and then tax season's around the corner. You guys, it's a never-ending cycle. And so you can reflect on these things, and you can offer solutions with Renatus. And whether or not you've participated yet in the solution and you've experienced it yourself, you can count on it yourself. You can write it down what next year will be like by imagining what it's going to be like for you to do your tax return this year after your first year in Renatus, and having all these deductions that are going to be available to you to apply to your tax return. If you haven't already started to adjust your W-4 form on your number of exemptions, right? And maybe you're collecting more money on your paycheck than you ever were before already. Whatever the case is, sharing with people the opportunity to be able to give back and have the Christmas they want, have the time freedom. When you can start to tell people, this business allows you to have Christmas and work and money too, right? This business allows you to help people have the same things and the same opportunities you have, right? Like, that's the number one reason the marketing and the networking and the system that Bob has generously and geniusly created is that we get the opportunity to give the same opportunity to somebody else. The person that enrolled me now 11 years ago is still a friend of mine, right? He actually just got remarried and had a baby. He's been out of real estate for a long time. Went through a very terrible divorce back in the crash. The crash got the best of him, and has struggled for a while. But he's back on his feet, and he and I talk all the time, and he's interested in reinvesting himself and his new wife in Renatus and things like that. And I thanked him the other day. I thanked him yesterday at Christmas time. I texted a lot of people and talked to a lot of people, and I said, Eric, thank you again. I'm very grateful for you and the fact that you put out a street sign and that you took the time to take my call and work with me until I got funded. And I told him thanks because he gave me an opportunity that I might not have never had. I don't even know if that's English, but you get the point. He gave me an opportunity that someone gave him that enabled me to have a very, very, very blessed Christmas. I remember, and will always remember, what it's like when it's hard. We'll remember what it's like when it's tough. And if it's not you right now, and you're not in that situation, you will encounter, if you market this business at all, people that are in that situation. So this goes for them, the people you haven't even spoken to yet, the people that we're going to come across. you hear Michaels talk about this, and every leader for that matter, Bob himself. When people don't have money and don't have the Christmas and don't have the money to get started or buy essentials even or anything like that, that's who needs Renatus. That's the exact point. When people have an abundance and they want to create more time freedom for their family and give back and have generational wealth and they have done very well for themselves, and they want to position their kids and their grandkids to be in a position where, they have these funds, but they want them to last. That's who needs Renatus, right? So they can be educated investors and not just skeptical or, speculative investors rather. Everybody needs Renatus. But I remember, what it's like when, even folks, even when I had $250,000 years, $300,000 years, I had several times I made $80,000 or more, $70,000 or more in a month over the last 10 years. But I had made so many mistakes, you guys. We were digging out of a long hole, and we were still trying to acquire property and put money away into retirement properties. Many mistakes I made, investing in the wrong deal, money getting not necessarily lost, but tied up for years, no returns on these investments. And the holidays would come and they're hard. A lot of times I would get 2 steps up and take 3 steps back because I'd have to put the holidays on a credit card. But I knew that the business I was in and the opportunity I was presented with and the opportunity that and what I had in the pipeline with my marketing or my real estate, I would flourish and I could pay it off and I could get by. A lot of people in the world, when they put things on the credit card, they hope they'll have the money to pay it off. Most of them are within a few bucks. They know exactly what they're going to make the next year. Their income is capped. They can't give themselves a raise. They can't work harder. The only thing they could do is get a second job or leverage, maybe take out another loan against their house, consolidate. Maybe they could sell something. Other than that, they're not getting any more income. With what we have here, you guys, we could just go to work a little harder. We could talk to a few more people and we could pay off the credit card in a day, a week, a month. Like, think about it. The opportunity that we have being 5-star qualified is crazy for what we can do in a very short period of time to better our situation. And if you're like most people and you're not like me and having hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt when it first got started, and you've got the average debt, 10, 20, 30 grand, what seems like an overwhelming amount, and it probably is, especially if you're working a W-2 job and you're making 40 grand or 50 grand a year, and you've got a family and kids, and it doesn't matter what bracket we're in. It's tough all over the place, right? Financially, until we figure this out. But wow, making an extra 10 or 20 grand and not quitting your job right away, keeping your job for another year, 6 months or 2 years, in my opinion, at least. I don't think you should make that mistake, but I'm not going to tell you what to do with your job, but when you can double your income with half the time by enrolling students or doing a couple fix and flips a year, maybe one even, make 30, 20, 40 grand on it. You position yourself to never have debt again, right? And now with the classes that we had now the opportunity to have a class in all the classes in business credit and regular credit and understanding credit and fixing credit, the classes in velocity banking, and I constantly use. Because a few short years ago, I had 2-3 credit cards, totaling somewhere around $1,300 max, maybe $800 max in limits. Now I think I have, I don't know, 15 or 18 credit cards totaling, a couple $100,000 of credit limit. In a very short period of time. And back when I started, remember folks, we didn't have credit classes. For the first 6-7 years of this business, I paid over, I don't even know, over $5,000 to 3 different companies total on trying to fix my credit and build it up after coming out of bankruptcy and foreclosure and all that stuff. I was paying companies just because I knew I had to fix my credit, because I had to get lines, because I had to take the burden off my wife and her credit. And then I ruined her credit, as you all know. Like, the opportunity we have, and you want to give back, you want to be charitable this year, you want to give a resource that you don't even realize you have, give Renatus. Give it as a gift. And I don't mean buy it. I just mean share it. Share it with people you care about. Share it with people you don't know yet. Share it with people you meet in the line. And it's an easy conversation in the future. For the next several weeks, it's an easy reflection on Christmas. And the minute, I promise you, something comes out, especially with what happened in the stock market, there will be a negative associated with this holiday from 2 out of 3 people. And you can provide a solution for a better Christmas next year. More time freedom, the ability to work or take vacation when you want, the ability to give back money you've saved from taxes, to give to charity, to go to a sanctuary and donate $1,000, to do whatever you want to do, to buy lavish gifts for the ones you love, like stupid gifts that mean not really that much, but they're just over the top, to provide a party for 40 people on your dime. Whatever it is you want to do, whatever it is they want to do, you have a gift, you have a resource, you have what 99% of America doesn't have, and that is Renatus. That is the gift of Renatus and Bob Snyder and the leadership that is ahead of you, that has the experience you're looking to have, that has the success you want. All those folks are here waiting for you to give it to somebody else. So give it to somebody else over and over and over again. Spread the joy of Renatus during the holiday and after, and you will benefit from it. And your Christmas, your holiday next year, will be better than it was this year. And it'll be better for your family, and it'll be better for somebody else because of you, because of your choice, because of who you are, and because you chose to be a part of Renatus. All right, folks, it is 8:58. The day after Christmas. It's time to go out there and take advantage of all the sales, spend more time with family, make a few phone calls and invite someone to this week's meetings. Whatever you want to do, you've got my phone number, 760-533-3141. I am extremely grateful that, over 45 of you, I think, were on this call, which is really cool. And you spent the time with me and listened to me, and it means more to me than you'll ever know. So I thank you. I thank you for the opportunity to be on this phone call with you and to fill in for Michael and to share with you this information. So with that, enjoy your day. Make it a great week. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, this is LaShawn. I just wanted to say a late Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you, and so glad to hear that your brother is doing better.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Yeah, he actually had a good Christmas. He's out there in Pennsylvania, and then he's flying to Michigan. He's with his family. he survived his heart attack, and hopefully he's making a few life choices. But thank you very much. Merry Christmas to everybody on this call. Thank you for that message. Happy holidays to you too. It means a lot to me. I really appreciate it, Lashana.
You're welcome.
Michael, you're very welcome as well. Everybody, it's just your family, right? And you guys are awesome. So cool. All right, everybody, have a great day. Have a happy holiday and have a great new year. Don't drink and drive, and we'll see you. Hey, Sandra, I love you, girl. The feeling is mutual. Thank you very much. Woohoo! All right, folks, let's go out and share this information and give the gift of Renatus. Have a fantastic day. I will end the meeting for everybody, and enjoy your day. Bye, folks.